Hi, this is Jason from eRacing Academy, and today I'm happy and proud to announce the official launch of Simagic's new pedal set, the P1000. And as a Simagic ambassador, I've been waiting for this pedal set for a long time, and today the anticipation is over, at least for me. But again, I'm delighted to be able to share this official launch video with you today. Talking about the P1000, it's Simagic's first high integrated professional pedal set with a modular design and high expansion capabilities. And today I want to be talking about all these specifications and features in this video, so you actually have a very good understanding before you decide to buy it. So before we do a deep dive into all these specs and features, I actually want to share with you what comes inside this box. And in this box comes everything you basically need for this pedal set. You're welcomed with the heel rest and the heel stop, and then you basically see the manual for it, the instructions that you need to be able to assemble this pedal set. Then after that, you come across a box that pretty much has all the nuts and bolts you need to be able to assemble this pedal set and actually mount it onto your cockpit. And once you go further into the box, you can see the USB cable that's required to connect to the PC, and then you can also see the optional rubber pads to adjust the stiffness of the brake pedal. And again, as usual with every product from Simagic, you come across the warranty card. And then of course, finally, you come across the 3-pedal set P1000 itself. And at the end of the video, actually, we're gonna share a section with you where you can see every single component that comes out of the box in detail. So now let's briefly talk about the specifications of the P1000. Every pedal here has a high accuracy, 12-bit to be precise, whole angle sensor, and in addition, the brake has a 100-kilogram load cell, which are all supported by a CNC aluminum alloy frame. And in terms of the P1000 size and weight, it covers a 13 by 13 by 11 inch volume, and it weighs around 5.65 kilos. So before I go into the adjustments and modularity sections, I want to give a good news for those drifters and casual drivers. There is an inverted model of this P1000, actually called the P1000i. So one of the standout features of this P1000 is its adjustability and modular design, which allows you to fine-tune pretty much everything on this pedal. You can adjust the heel stop position, the height of the pedal faces, the angle of the pedal faces, the lateral position of the pedals, the stiffness, and the stroke length for each pedal. I know I went over those adjustments very fast, but for your information, there will be a section at the end of the video that explains and shows how all these adjustments are made. But now I actually want to talk about the adjustment of each of the pedals' stiffnesses in detail now. The throttle pedal, here we have a spring inside, which is not changeable. The way to change the stiffness of the pedal itself is actually changing the position of this rose joint. So the higher position actually means the stiffer setting, and the lower position means the softer setting. And the brake pedal itself, we have 8 polyurethane and rubber pads. So what you can do is you can change the stiffness of the pedal itself by changing these pads. So according to Simagic, we have 27,648 different configurations you can do. And with these many configurations, Simagic have been very kind to us to actually share a specification sheet explaining which rubber pad or polyurethane pad combination is actually similar to the feeling you'll get in which category or real car. So let's say you want to have the feeling of driving a single-seater or a GT3 car. You're probably going to use mostly the red and blue pads. On the other side, if you want to have the feeling you're driving more like a road car, a softer pedal, then you're probably going to use the black and the gray pads. In the box, you get mostly gray and black pads with some red and blue. And as it stands, my configuration is similar to a GT4 setting, which is 3 reds, 3 blues, and 2 grays. And of course, in the future, if you want to further personalize your brake feeling, you can always go to the Simagic store and buy some extra rubber or polyurethane pads for your liking. And when it comes to the clutch pedal, all you have to do is change the spring. So currently we have the yellow spring, which is the softest. You can have the medium stiffness, which is the blue, and the stiffest spring is the red. Also, I just want to say that at the end of this video, we have a section at the end that pretty much shows you how each adjustment can be changed for each pedal. Modularity is something I keep emphasizing about the P1000, and now I actually want to talk about the add-ons you can put on this pedal set. Firstly, I want to talk about two items we have from the Simray family. First, we have the PSRB, the Simray Bar, which you put underneath the pedal set and it gives off some very pretty lights. And secondly, we have the PSRH, the Heel Stop, the heel bar we have, and that actually replaces this current red one. And again, like the bar, it gives off some very pretty lights. So you're probably wondering what kind of disco lighting you get with these Simray products. I'm going to actually go into detail and explain exactly what they do whilst I'm explaining the Sim Pro Manager software. Secondly, here we have the PHPR, the Haptic Pedal Reactor. What it pretty much does, it vibrates, and where you put it is actually behind the pedal face. And again, as I'm explaining the Sim Pro Manager software, I'll be telling you exactly what it does. In addition, which we don't have here, is the PHYS hydraulic pedal system, and that actually replaces the rubber pad system on the brake pedal itself. So there is a catch here. For you to be able to use all these add-ons, you need to purchase this extra power supply. As you can see, it's very modular with all of these add-ons, and with the Sim Pro Manager, you can customize and tune every of the add-ons according to your liking. And finally, here we are on the cockpit, and we've mounted the P1000 with all the add-ons we just showed you onto our eRacing Academy customized cockpit. Now I want to go over the Sim Pro Manager and basically show you the menus related to the pedal and the add-ons, and change a few settings and see what happens with them. Sim Pro Manager 1.3 version, we had to have a updated version from Simagic, obviously, to be able to see and recognize the P1000 pedal set. Anyhow, you can see my pedals are moving, so it recognizes it. So let's just look into the P1000 menu. Here we are, we have the clutch, the brake, the throttle. As you can see at the top left, we have the P1000 connected to the PC, and very, very easy, simple things. As with every other pedal set, you can pretty much adjust the dead zone, the linearity of each of the pedal sets. That's very straightforward. But I want to grab your attention on the brake menu, because as you can see, there are two modes of function. One with pressure, with the load cell, and here you have the angle, and that works obviously with the Hall effect angle sensor. So let's say you have a lot of soft pads in the brake pedal, and you want a longer, softer travel. Then Simagic basically recommends you use the angle function. Whereas, like me, if you prefer a harder pedal, which you mostly have lots of reds or blue pads inside, you want that short, stiff pressure, and you want to basically rely on the memory muscles that are related to the amount of pressure you put. Then you want to have the pressure function on. And finally, we have the throttle pedal, exactly the same adjustments you can make with the clutch. And I just want to remind you, each of these pedals have a 12-bit Hall angle sensor. All right, now let's look at the Haptic Pedal Reactor motor. So here, click onto the motor menu. As you can see in the images, we've got the motors connected to all the pedals. And you can see here, I can pretty much test, adjust the amount of feedback in terms of percentage, and adjust the frequency of the vibration provided by the motor. So here we go, we're going to press the clutch. I mean, here's it, you can hear it. Yep. So I want to bring it down to a amount that I feel comfortable, whilst the clutch is going to give me some sort of feedback. And as you can see, you can adjust the frequency, the amount of percentage. And here's another thing. So let's come to the brake. As I'm driving, I only want to feel the haptic motor react when the ABS is on. That's pretty cool. So it's basically another kind of feedback. And coming to the throttle, I only want to basically feel the haptic motor working when the traction controller is on. Again, another good feature, another sort of feedback. Basically, you can adjust all the pedals to however you want and get the amount of feedback you need. So now let's come to the Simray products, see what kind of disco lighting they provide. As you can see, we've got the floor light and we've got the stopper light. So the floor light is basically the bar underneath the pedal. The stopper light is the heel stop, and you can pretty much adjust whatever kind of coloring you want. So the mono, the breathe, the running, they're all kind of like colors, you know, going through in and out of the Simray products. But I want to show you actually something. It's called pedal in. So let's say we got the floor light. Let's press the brake. And you can see as I'm pressing the amount of pressure I'm applying, then the bar starts to actually rise or like go from right to left. Same with the throttle. It's nice and green with the accelerator, nice and red with the brake. With that, you can actually get visual warnings whilst driving as well. So as you can see, I've set the floor light to ABS and the heel stop to traction control. So you're going to see whilst we're driving, when the ABS, you know, is active, the floor light, the bar will actually flicker. And when the traction control is activated, the stopper, the heel stop light will flicker and give you a feedback. And honestly, all I can say is that all the YouTubers, bloggers, you know, streamers who are going to use these features, this pedal set, are going to love it, because basically around the pedal set is going to be very colorful. And now I think it's time to go to the part that is most anticipated by all of you, even myself. I think we should go onto the track and do some driving. So here we are at Imola with a BMW M4 GT4, a car I used to race last year at the GT4 European Series. And I want to just mention that it is Assetto Corsa Competizione, today's simulation. So I want to give you an insight also with the equipment I'm using. We have as a wheelbase, obviously, we have the Simagic Alpha U direct drive wheelbase. And as my steering wheel, we have the FX Pro. So before I go into things, I actually want to emphasize that something. On this FX Pro steering wheel, we have lights indicating when traction control or the ABS is activated. So if I just press the brake, you'll see very small blue lights appear. And if I accelerate and get the TC working, you'll see there are two purple lights at the top. And obviously, if you can see, I want you to see how synchronized they work with the pedals, you know, the add-ons on the pedal, the Simray products. Anyhow, let's start driving. So initial thoughts, you can feel the build quality is good. I feel no sense of, you know, any bending, any flexing in the pedal set, and there are absolutely no tolerances either, which is a really good feeling. It feels solid. You know, everything's aluminium, CNC, and it feels good. The throttle pedal, I like the travel. I kind of have it on a shorter travel, let's say. I've adjusted the stroke kind of on the shorter side, and I like it. The pedal's a little bit on the softer side, even though I have it on the harder settings, but still, it's good. It has a good feeling. Maybe in the future, they'll come up with a way of actually changing the spring inside to make it even stiffer. The brake pedal, I'm not gonna lie, actually feels quite good. You know, I'm using the 3 red, 3 blue, and 2 grey combination of the rubber pads, and it feels, I would say, close to my old GT4 car I used to race last year. And obviously that's the stiffest I can do right now with the amount of, or with the rubbers that actually came in the box as standard. But even this stiffness I'm pretty happy with, because it is pretty sufficient. Nearly missed my braking point. I have to get used to it again. Anyhow, the clutch pedal, I don't really have a lot to say, because I mean, I'm not a drifter, I'm not a rally driver. I don't really use, you know, manual stick shift cars, and you know, I don't really use the clutch. But obviously, you know, from the feeling I get, it is pretty good. It's kind of got 2 stages. You know, the initial part is the biting section, it's a little stiffer, and obviously once you have the biting part, it's a little easier to actually control. All right, I don't know if you've noticed, but every time I'm on the ABS or on the traction control, the Simray products are flickering. And the haptic reactor, let's say, is also vibrating as well. You'd be surprised initially, okay, I'm not gonna say you'd be surprised. Initially, I was a little skeptical because it kept vibrating and it kind of distracted you. But now, as I've got used to it and I've actually adjusted it according to my liking, it's pretty cool. And you'd be surprised how much actually the ABS or even the traction control is activated whilst you're driving, even in a GT4 car. So yeah, I mean these cars do have ABS in real life, and obviously that's a very good representation. So that's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying it's not gonna satisfy you without the add-ons, but I'm gonna say the add-ons definitely add a different dimension to your feedback and feeling. The Simray lights, I'm guessing it's more for the people who maybe want to drive in the dark, or if you don't actually have the haptic reactor, maybe you can actually get a glimpse of the lights and basically see if any of the assists such as traction control and the ABS are activated. Anyhow, I think it's a good gimmick. Why not? So let's talk about the ergonomics, okay? As you can see, we've actually mounted it to our customized eRacing Academy Sigma profile cockpit. So I actually didn't need to use the spare brackets that came with the pedal set in the box, because I have this plate obviously drilled according to most of the popular manufacturers' drill sets. So I can very happily say that the mounting holes for this pedal set are the exact as a Fanatec V3 pedal set. So that's actually very convenient. You don't have to actually drill any spare holes or separate holes, let's say. So I like that feature. But again, if you have a fully customizable cockpit that doesn't have a plate with a pre-drilled holes, then you can use the brackets that came with it and mount it onto your cockpit. Saying that, I'm using the heel plate. Again, you don't have to have the heel plate on, but I like this heel plate and I like the heel stop as well. And saying that the heel stop is actually quite good. I like the angle of it. It feels very stiff. Obviously, it's pretty much like a solid aluminium thing, so that's good. In terms of adjustability, I could maybe bring it further forward to me, but I'm pretty comfortable in that right now because I actually like leaning my heels on the heel stop. It gives you a sense of confidence, and actually you're driving the car rather than the car driving you. I know that's a very funny term to say in sim racing, but I've always liked to have my heels supported by a heel stop. It's useful. It kind of gives you that extra bit of, let's say, finesse control whilst you're driving as well, especially whilst braking. Yep, I'm definitely feeling a lot of vibrations. This haptic reactor is definitely working well, and every time I'm on, the ABS is activated. Every time I'm a little impatient on the throttle, the TC kicks in and it's kind of warning me. Because I mean, let's face it, you don't really know a lot when, especially the ABS and the traction control. You sometimes hear it with the engine sound, but ABS, you're not really too sure when it kind of kicks in. Maybe the very pro sim racers kind of have an idea, or the experienced ones, they know. But for the non-experienced one, it's actually a very good indication. These brake pads I have, I'm wondering, I'm actually quite curious how it would feel if I had them any stiffer. Because as you start getting used to the brake pressure, how it feels, you can modulate it better. Your muscle memory kind of knows how to react, how to press for the next corner, and actually makes you much more confident. So yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty interesting how the game, I mean, or like how the software in this, let's say, brake pedal system is able to retrieve all this data. So, you know, normally you get an SDK for this, but everything's pretty much done here. You know, Simagic have really done a good job with this, you know, being able to get these kind of these features standards, okay, built into the software is pretty good. I think they need a pat on the back, an applause. Yeah, good job to them. I'm enjoying this, I'm not gonna lie. Cool. I think that's pretty much me done for driving today, so I think it's time we should, you know, go into the conclusion section and, you know, see what we really think. So to conclude, let's start with the box. The box is very rich. It has everything you need, all the nuts and bolts, spanners, Allen keys, spare springs for the clutch, and spare rubber pads for the brake. Also, the design is pretty compact, very sturdy. The tolerancing, I think, is very good. And when you think of the simple and the effective solutions they've come up with in order to make this more adjustable, I can say there's definitely a lot of engineering going inside this. We were told that there were some racing drivers involved in designing this, so ergonomically as well, it's actually pretty good considering how you can position the heel rest and how you can actually angle the pedal faces. And with its multiple add-ons, it's actually created its own system where you can pretty much add whatever you want to make your driving more immersive. Saying that, I was actually quite impressed with the Haptic Pedal Reactor because it was actually quite nice to feel the amount of detail you were getting whilst either the traction control or the ABS was activated. Of course, I don't want to forget mentioning the Simray products, the heel rest and the bar underneath. It does put you in good spirits because, you know, it gives you nice colors, it gives you good feedback. And, you know, talking about feedback, I was impressed to how synchronized it was working with the Haptic Pedal Reactor and whatever you saw on the screen, I mean the computer screen, and on the FX Pro steering wheel. So either you want to light up your room or you're driving, I think these Simray products could be a good buy. And in terms of driving, I actually like how it felt, you know, ergonomic. I said I was quite pleased with the positioning and everything. And the pedals themselves, I can't really talk a lot about the clutch. They actually felt pretty good. The brake pedal, you know, you had the sensation of the pressure you can put, and the modularity was also pretty good. Yes, maybe towards the end, I felt like I could probably do with some stiffer pads, but, you know, again, pretty good. The throttle pedal, I think it was a little soft for me. I'm not gonna lie, even though I have it on the stiffer setting, I felt it was a little soft, and I couldn't actually rest my foot on the pedal itself because every time I was resting it, I was getting a little percentage of throttle. So hopefully in the future, maybe Simagic will come up with a stiffer spring you can actually replace with the current one, or something else to actually make it a little bit stiffer. Maybe another negative thing I can actually mention is the Haptic Pedal Reactors. It's not necessarily negative, but when you set each Haptic Pedal Reactor on the same percentage and frequency, you don't get the exact same sensation. So you pretty much have to adjust them individually to how you like it. Another comment I want to make is probably about the Sim Pro Manager software. Especially with the Simray products, you kind of do get a little lost in how to actually set your lights up. It's a little flimsy and tedious at times, but once you get used to it, you get a good idea. So, good design, good build quality, good electronics, a good feeling. And we're told that it's going to be around the 500 USD mark. So, I think that makes it actually a good candidate for the load cell pedal sets. And let's not forget also, there is a hydraulic set as an add-on there's an option you can buy later, and that's going to be announced soon. And finally, I want to say that all these products were given to us by Simagic for free to actually make this official launch video. But I must emphasize that none of my feelings and thoughts were influenced by that. And everything I've shared with you in this video are my true feelings and thoughts. And that's it for me for today. I really hope you liked our first official launch video of the Simagic P1000 pedal set. Saying that, if you liked our video, please thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the eRacing Academy YouTube channel, please do subscribe. And as Simagic always says, keep racing. See you guys next time.